Hello and welcome back to day 3, part 2 or part B of the Alabama Fall Yarn Crawl. If you're new here, hey, my name's Kim and I'm the host of this channel where we talk all things yarn, knitting, and crochet. And this series has covered the Alabama Fall Yarn Crawl. And that is a yarn crawl in my state that covered 5 stores, roughly 525 miles of driving, about 10.5 to 11 hours in the car alone, not counting the time spent in the yarn store, and where I've got as much footage as I possibly could to share with you, to tell you about the different yarn stores, what's made them special, showing you some of the yarns that they've carried, showing you some of the shop samples, and then showing you what I've got from each of the store. And unfortunately, we are at our last yarn store today, TamingTheEwe, which is located in downtown Gadsden, Alabama. And not only that, but I got the grand prize. I actually won the grand prize, and so we're going to dive into that, talk about all the yarns in there and the other things that are located in the basket, and it's just going to be a perfect ending to this wonderful fall adventure that we've had. So go ahead and go grab a project, grab something to drink, and let's go into our last yarn store of this fall yarn crawl. And so if you've missed the first, second, and third video of this series, they're going to be linked down below for you and up in the cards, so you can easily find them if you want to check out the other amazing stores in my area. But this store is kind of special to me because this yarn store is one of the first yarn stores I ever visited way back in 2013. And the way that the yarn crawl works is you buy this $2 passport. This is just a copy, it's not real. I had to turn my passport in, and that's how I won the basket. But you buy a $2 passport, and then each time you visit a store, you get it stamped, and then you turn it in, and you have to visit all the yarn stores in the crawl to be eligible to win the grand prize. You don't have to buy anything at all the stores, but you do have to physically go into them and get the stamp. But I did buy something in all the stores because I wanted to support this yarn crawl, and I want to support the local yarn stores because I love things like this. I love the community that it builds, and I love the joys that it brings going in and meeting new people and seeing new yarns and seeing new areas of my state that maybe I have never been into. But this yarn store, Pat's store, is kind of special to me, and I wanted to save it for last for several reasons. She was one of the very first yarn stores that I ever went into when I first started knitting and crocheting. I think I went in her store around 2013, 2014. She was at the old location, which was about a block and a half maybe away. It was on a side street, and it was a much smaller store. But I remember I went into her yarn store for the first time. My mom was actually even with me. And I bought 2 skeins of yarn. The first one I got was this yarn called Popping Flowers, maybe. It looks just like this because this is the one that I bought. And I was so drawn to the colors of it and the texture of it. I had no idea about anything about novelty yarns. I was a brand new knitter. I may not even been knitting then, but I was definitely a brand new crocheter, and I was just kind of engulfed, I guess you can say, by all the colors and textures of the yarns around me. I'd only known big box store yarns up to that really point, I think. And so walking into this yarn store and just seeing yarn on the walls, just, it blew my mind. But with that yarn, I made this cow, which I think turned out kind of cute. It was very difficult to work with that yarn being a new crocheter, and honestly, I don't even know where that cow is. It may be in the hope chest, or I may have already donated it. But also while I was there, I got a skein of Uptown Worsted, which is a worsted weight yarn in the colorway salmon, and I made this little headband for our girl at church who helped me with the little kids. But it was a really amazing experience. What's crazy is when I bought that flowers yarn, I was so blown away by the fact that I was spending $14 on a skein of yarn. I never thought I would pay that much for yarn. Again, I was only familiar with big box store yarns. So spending $14 on one thing of yarn was just like unheard of. And my, how times have changed. I wanted to get some background information for you for Taming of the Ewe, but I couldn't really find a start date for her store. But I know her older store was there in 2013, and I want to say it was there for several years. So even putting it somewhere around 2010, possibly. I don't know. I'm sure Miss Pat will watch this and she'll comment somewhere, and then I will go back and edit the video description with that information. But Pat's store is very special because it's always just been a place of camaraderie and encouragement. Her store is one that caters to both knitters and crocheters, and there's no derogatory looks if you're a crocheter or any yarn shaming whatsoever. It's just a happy place to go sit, knit, crochet, and shop for yarn. But Pat's store is also very special because it sells a variety of hot teas. And while you're in there, you can even have some tea brewed for you and shop for some kettles and even some mugs and other tea accessories. She has a whole wall of teas in these cute little tins, and it's just a great place to go. And the store always smells amazing because of it. So when you first come up to Pat's new store, it's in an older building at 541 Broad Street with these big windows and this big wood and glass door. When you walk in, you're greeted to the left with that wall of tea and the cash register, but right next to that is several tables with lots of chairs for knitting, crocheting, and drinking of tea, and even other projects if you want to work on those as well while you have your tea, or even do some work on your computer. And then immediately to your right is where all the really yarnness happens. There's a whole wall of almost floor to ceiling bookcases that runs down the span of the store, and that wall is going to have all kind of yarns by Knitting Fever. There is some collage yarn, there's some earth yarns, there's some sock kits. There's so much variety on that wall. And then slowly, as you turn to the middle of the store, you're greeted with these fixtures full of hand dyes and other kind of yarns as well. On the back part, past the register, you have some notions, and then there are two doors that take you into two separate rooms. One is one that is focused more on amigurumi, and in there you'll find some cute kits, and there's also this really cool fixture where you can pick out smaller little cakes of yarn that are bite-sized and perfect for your amigurumi. And in the other room, it's focused for spinning. There's some fibers from Wonderland Yarns. There is some yarn winders. I think Swifts are in there as well, and maybe some even spinning accessories. And you're also going to find books and magazines to purchase in that room. The whole store is really organized. It's really well laid out. And when I went this time, there was a brand new display of Sweet Georgia yarns up front. And I love Sweet Georgia yarns. They're a beautiful palette. And then right beside that is the yarn that is kind of in-house dyed in a way, but it's dyed for that store from a local dyer. And that dyer is called Harp and Dragon Fiber Arts. So definitely make sure you check out her hand dyed when you go into the store. But Pat carries a variety of yarns from Malabrigo to Knitting Fever to Jody Long to Apple Yarns, and there's just so much that her store has. She does have a great website, Facebook page, and Instagram. All that is going to be linked down below for you, just like it has been on every one of the other videos of the other yarn stores. I think Pat's store holds a special place in my heart because it's been such a long part of my journey, and because I consider Pat a friend. It's really nice to go in there and be able to talk to her about yarn and the other knitters and crocheters that are sitting there. I've never had a bad experience in that store, whether it be from her or anyone who is sitting there knitting and crocheting. It's just one where, like I said, full of camaraderie, full of community, and I think it's important that we show those stores love and that we protect what they stand for. because we all need kindness and we all need a community. We all need a place to go and to share our passions, and that's what Pat's store is. That's what Taming of the Ewe is. But before we go any further, I do want to take the time to show you what I got at the yarn store, because I did get 2 skeins of yarn at the store from her. One of them I got on the day that I visited during the yarn crawl, and that is this yarn from Koi Fish Fibers. It is so pretty. It is called Pecan Pie, very fitting for the season, and it is on the Tibetan base. It is a 3-ply fingering weight yarn, 65% superwash merino, 20% silk, and 15% yak. It is so squishy and so soft, and it smells delightful. This is 438 yards and 100 grams, but it has the most gorgeous little browns and grays. It is just really, really pretty, and it has some gorgeous speckles in there. But I just really like this. And I am someone where a name of a yarn will sell me like nothing else. I mean, it can be the most ugliest color, but if it has a good name and it relates to me in some way, I'm going to buy that stinking yarn. That's just the way that I'm programmed. It's really weird. But I love a good name. And it's so strange, but I used to hate pecan pie, and I'm a southerner. I'm supposed to love pecan pie or pecan pie if you're a northerner. But I used to not love it. And then when I got married, my husband kept saying, like, try it, try it, try it. And I finally tried it, and guess what? I love pecan pie. So I thought it was pretty funny. And since we're coming up on our 20-year anniversary or something, I thought it'd be kind of funny to maybe make something out of some pecan pie next year for our anniversary. The next thing I purchased on Monday when I went to Taming of the Ewe to pick up the grand prize. I remembered seeing that gorgeous display of Sweet Georgia yarns in the front, and I was just couldn't resist anymore. I'd also gotten Kate's Cash on that day that I got this yarn, and Kate's Cash is basically a gift certificate to the store, and it was for $10. So I wound up getting this skein of Sweet Georgia yarn for $10 off. It's BFL silk, fine, so it's a fingering weight yarn, and it's Blueface Illuster. 65%, I think, BFL. No, 75% BFL, 25% silk. It is just divine, and it's Sweet Georgia yarns. I mean, the dye is just gorgeous. It is 370 yards and 100 gram skein, and this is the colorway Charcoal. I love picking up tonals, especially grays and black, because I can use them for so many things. A lot of my shawls I knit are 2-color shawls, and I like to use fun, colorful yarns, but it's nice to have a tonal to kind of pair with it, to kind of tone it down a little bit, or to make a different color pop. So if I have something that's really high in contrast to this, I'm going to get a lot of pop out of that other yarn. And those are the kind of things that I think about when I'm knitting shawls. So having a arsenal of tonals and solids in my stash it's a must. And I'm always going through grays and black yarns. I tend to grab them quite often for multi-skein shawls, and so that's why I had to just go ahead and grab one. So full disclosure for this video, you may notice the light change behind me. That is because this part of the video I had to re-record. I recorded it this morning when I recorded the unboxing of the basket of Squishy Delight, and let me tell you, there is a lot of Squishy Delight in that basket, y'all. But unfortunately, the lapel mic that I had doesn't work anymore. So we're having to re-record this, and that is why it's now darker outside. And then once we start opening the basket in a little bit in the second part of this video, it's going to be daylight again. So I'm so sorry, but I just want to give you that in full disclosure. So roll the footage of the rest of the yarn store, and then let's meet back here and open the basket of yarn together. So now let's talk about the grand prize basket and what is all in this thing, because I have been eagerly waiting to dive in and to see what is in here, because I do see some yarns that I am not familiar with and I am ready to find out more about them. And so as I pull out the yarns, I will share the information about the yarn with you. So starting off on the top, I see two of these. These are Jody Long Ciao, C-I-A-O. This is a Knitting Fever yarn. This is a, what is this? I don't know anything about this yarn. Colorway 008 Marine. It is 115 yards, 50 grams, 100% wool. Put the information down here if I am wrong. Love the blue. It's like a nice royal blue. There's another one of these. So this is the same yarn. It's extra fine merino superwash wool. Is this a different base? No. So they're extra fine merino superwash wool, 100%. This color is Nougat, color 07. It's a natural. They may have to be a colorwork hat. They are very pretty together. I love the contrast. It's a nice shade of blue. It's a lot like my shirt I have on. Love those. Let's see, what is this? There's this. This is Noro. This is the Kuran base. Kuran base, maybe, is that how you say it? This is color 480. And this is a 4-weight yarn. I have some of this over there. I have a couple of random one skeiners. Maybe I'll use them together and make something colorful. Oh, here's another one. There's two of them. Is there another one? Wait, there's another one. There's 3 of them. So I have 3 of those. I really love the colorway of this. It's very, very pretty. Okay, nice. This is, okay, so this is the in-house dyer that I was telling you about. This is Harp and Dragon Fiber Arts, and this is a color that they dyed for your yarn store day 2024. It's a DK weight 4-ply yarn, 100% superwash merino, 246 yards, and dyed exclusively for TamingTheEwe. So this is one of their local yarn store day 2024. But look at that. Look at the speckles. I love a good speckled yarn. That is so pretty. So, so pretty. Skimming through my basket, and there is a solid of it as well. So that would be nice. I'm trying to get it so the tags are not in the way. That'd be nice together. That's really, really pretty. This would make a great cowl. I think I know the cowl exactly that I'm going to use this for. Yes, that's going to be glorious. I really like that colorway. I love smelling yarn. Do you like smelling your yarn? Love those. Very pretty. And again, that is Harp and Dragon. That is a local dyer, and they have a good bit of yarn that they sell at TamingTheEwe. I did notice when she puts out a new yarn, Pat will put up a post on the Facebook page. It's like a naming contest, and then you suggest names, and then they put it down to the final however many, and then you can vote on that one. Whoever wins gets a free skein of yarn. And there's one of those going on right now, but I think it ends on Friday, and I probably won't have this video up till Friday. But make sure you're following TamingTheEwe so you can be a part of that in the future. So next up in here we have, one of my favorites. This yarn is so squish-o-matic. This is Earth Yarns, and this is the Unique base, which is a worsted weight base. This one says 75 grams on it. I think they're usually like 200 yards or 220 yards for 100 grams, if I'm not mistaken. So this one's like a lighter skein of it. Look at those colors. Their yarns kind of remind me if like a candy store had threw up and produced a yarn. It would just be like this colorful explosion. And that's kind of what this is. It's very, very pretty. I don't think they have colorway names. No. They have a colorway number, and this is 4024. But what I like about them is Knit to Planet. A portion of each sale supports TFF, helping plant trees and restore land through sustainable farming in Africa. So they are a yarn company on a mission to do good, and I love that. There's this yarn. This is new to me. This is from Circulio, hand-painted A Lucky Feet. 360 yards. Look at that pretty color. Let's see what this yarn is. Made in Turkey. It is a number 2 sport weight yarn. There is 3.52 ounces and 100 grams. It's a 75% superwash merino, 25% polyamide. My favorite base for socks, because that polyamide just gives you some longevity. I love this color. I don't see a colorway name. I see a colorway number, 9193. Look how pretty that is. This is really soft. I don't know if I want to make socks out of this. This might make some wonderful fingerless mitts. And it's about fingerless mitt season for me. When it's kind of cool outside, but not really cold enough to have the heater on, is when I get my arm cramps. And fingerless mitts are like the best thing ever for me. What is this thing? This is fun. Another one of it. Ooh, this is very squishy. Ball yarn. We were just talking about ball yarn when we were talking about the video that I put out on Wednesday. Yarn Boutique. Sylvia carries a lot of ball yarn, but this is the Sequoia base. It's 100% superwash merino. It's 85 yards and 125 grams. Look at those colors. Look at the blurps of pink in there. So this is a more of a woolen spun. There's some kind of like, is that a tie? Oh, it's a tie. I was like trying to figure out why there's a braided part in there. I've never used this yarn. I don't think I've ever used any of the ball yarns. This is really pretty though. It's making my nose twiggle because the little stuffies coming off of it. It's kind of giving me Halloween vibes with the purplish and the green color. I don't know, what do you think? Is it Halloween vibes for you? Let's slide one of these off and look and see how the color is. Oh yeah, that's pretty. So you just get like mostly of the purple and then a blurb of the green, and then that pink that runs through it. That's pretty. I like that. Skein this back up, or hank this back up. So it's a lovely hank. There we go. Love that. Very, very pretty. Definitely giving me Halloween vibes. Kind of like Hocus Pocus. I don't know. I think they missed a great opportunity naming this Hocus Pocus. What is this? This is some Noro. So if you like Noro, Pat has a really large selection of Noro and other Knitting Fever yarns. So did several of the other yarn stores that we visited. Noro is just one of those yarns that offer a lot of color and I think are quite affordable. This is really pretty. This is, what is this? I've never used this. Hana silk, 65% wool and 35% silk. It's a number 4 weight yarn, 150 grams and 330 meters. Oh, there's another one. There's 2 of these. Look how pretty. I love the thick and thin. The one thing I really love about Noro is it has a very earthy feel to it, a very natural feel yarn. I think it's one of the reasons it's so popular. In the past, I have had issues with Silk Garden having a lot of knots, but some of the other bases I've used, I've never really had issues, and I've never used this base, so I'm interested how this is gonna to work out for me, but I just think it's really pretty. So this is editing me in the future, but I realized that I got this mug out of the basket and set it right here in between talking of the Hana silk and the Barocco, whatever that M word is, Morel, and didn't talk about the mug, but I was afraid I was going to break it. But this mug was in the basket also, and this is from All Strung Out Yarn Shop in Opelika, Alabama, and I was hoping she put one of these in there because she mentioned that she had them, and then I can use it here in the studio when I record. But I had to come back and talk about that because I love that she put a mug in with her little cute dog on it. So yeah, back to the original footage. Okay, so next up we have this. This is new to me. This is a Barocco Morel. It is a 4-weight yarn, 65% wool, 35% silk. This is really, really soft and pretty. The pups are playing. Oh, there's another one. There's another one there. 5 of these. There is 760 yards. That is so pretty. It is so soft. Look at the ply on that yarn, how pretty it is. I love this color too. So this colorway, Barocco doesn't ever name their colors. It just says color 14003. 14003. I kind of like Barocco more than Cascade. Shh, don't tell anybody. But I just love their yarns. They have a great, great yarn. I did see this when I was digging around to get those, and this is, I guess, a book of patterns for that yarn because it's the same base name on it. And looking at the back, I'm guessing these are the patterns that are included. This, I want to make this. I've been wanting to make some of these. I have one on the needles that I started a long time ago. And I mean a long time ago, because I'm actually making it out of Barocco Vibe, which I don't even think it's being made anymore. I think it was discontinued. And I need to finish that. Look at that, how cute that is. I love that detail going down the center, that cable. That is so pretty. But looking at it, it's very size inclusive. It goes all the way to 36 inches to 72 inches for the bust, and the length goes all the way from 21 inches to 25.5 inches. So I need to figure out my bust size and then figure out which size I fall into and how many I need of those. Because if I have to just pick up 1 or 2 more from somewhere, I will track them down and make that, because I'm wanting to make more garments, and I just really think that'd be super cute to wear over one of my long dresses I like to wear. So there's all the colors it comes in. I really love this orange, and I don't know if that's a dark gray or like a green. I guess it's a dark gray, but it doesn't say the color names in here. But I definitely would like to make that. As far as the other patterns, there's this shruggy looking thing that's really cute. Then there is this cable sweater. Love that. I love this cardi. I love texture on the panel. The button band is what I think it's called. Then we have a cowl and a hat and some gloves. I am super thankful that they stuck this in for the yarn. So looking at the more yarns, there is this. This is a really lovely brown. This is Brazilian Merino, 328 yards. And is a sweet the base, I wonder? The sweet's the base. Look at the cute label. This is a new to me yarn. I've never seen or used this. It's a 3-weight yarn, 100% merino. Oh, it's the same company as this. They're both by that Circulio. Interesting. New to me yarns. This is a really nice, kind of reminds me by the feel of it of Wool of the Indies. from Knit Picks. Maybe a little bit softer. Very pretty color. The color is called Mocha. Well, obviously that's why I like it, because I am a coffee mocha lover. Made in Brazil. Alright. 328 yards per 100 grams. And a DK weight number 3. That's a lot of put up for a DK weight. This is a really nice yarn. This would be a really great yarn for sweaters. That's really pretty. And then, oh, what is this? This is nice. So this is Silk Paca fingering weight yarn. Oh, it's MJ Yarns. So this is a male dyer. And this is the Silk Paca fingering. It's 70% baby alpaca, 30% silk. That explains the niceness. And it is color baguette. Approximately 100 grams, 430 yards. Oh, this is so soft. This is so soft. I would love a whole sweater out of this. Look at that squish. Look at those colors. That is so pretty. If I'm not mistaken, MJ Yarns is a male dyer, and they're from the UK, and somewhere in the UK. I'm not sure where. I love the greens and the yellows. That is really nice. We have another Earth Yarns, another Unique, and this is the worsted weight. Look how pretty that is. So nice. All those colors, so colorful. Okay, I have the 2 packs from Paper Crane Yarns that obviously I'm saving to talk about last. Let's look at this. So there is a bag. I saw this bag in the store. This is a Yarn Boutique of Decatur. It is one of their bags, and it's just a nice screen printed tote. It's a really good size. It's big. Hold lots and lots of yarn. Then we have this. This is one of my favorite bags. These are, it's got like little handles here. And then it's got a longer handle here. These are the Oh Snap bags. This is from Delaque. There's the Delaque label. And it's the pink. They used to do a pink for October for breast cancer awareness. I wonder if this is one of them. But this is one of their new large bags. It's got slip pockets all the way around. So there's a total of 6 slip pockets. And then, I don't know if you can see it, but right here on the inside of this one, there's a zipper pocket that runs the whole length of the bag for stitch markers and notions. But these are great project bags, and I love that this one has all the separate organization, and they just snap. And then you can have your yarn coming out of it, so you can knit and crochet on the go. Love those. And that is a Delaque Oh Snap in the large size. So then we have this little crunchiness. I'm going to open this real fast, and then I will come back to you once I get the crunch factor away. Okay, so in here there is a card from Barocco Fall Winter 2025, and it says the Yarn Design Collection. And there's a QR code, and 50% off one pattern. And it has their new yarns. Interesting. I may have to utilize that. Then there's a sticker from Barocco. Y'all know how much I love stickers. And I think there's a place that this can go on my MacBook right there. So I'm going to set that aside so I can put that there. Some little scissors. How cute are the little super snips. Super small, super sharp, super safe. Okie dokie. Well, that's just super. Oh, the little, the clip is attached to them, so you don't lose the protective thing. Well, that's snazzy, because that's the part that I always lose. And then they just wind up stabbing me or something in my bag. This must have been donated from All Strung Out because there's Laura's card in there. And then she sent some needle tips, and they're cute bees. I don't have any bee ones, so I love the little bee ones with the heart wings. I love those. And then, what is this? What is this? Needle felted gnome kit. Oh my. I've been wanting to try some needle felting. So this has, I guess, the instructions to make that adorable gnome. Okay. And then, I guess those are finger protectors and all your tools. Oh, okay. So there's the felting board. And then there's all the pretty fiber. That's going to be fun to try. I've been wanting to try some needle felting. I don't know if I want to start off trying, though, on this pretty kit. I have some that I've bought, but I didn't have the felting block. And so I may, like, do practicing with that fiber and then try to make this cute gnome to put out here. I bet that's where the sticker came from that was stuck on something. Yeah, so the sticker probably goes right there. Love that. I'll just wind up putting that sticker in my journal, so we'll just set that there. This pile has gotten crazy. Now, the last two things. They were obviously donated by Paper Crane Yarns, and y'all know, if you have watched this series from the very beginning, that I wanted these so bad, but I just could not afford to spend them and then the money on them and then still get stuff at the other stores, because this was day one of the yarn crawl. So I had to leave them, and it made me very sad to leave them. But when I saw that they were in the grand prize basket, I was like, maybe, wouldn't that be awesome if I can actually win them? And then lo and behold, like a week later, here we are. We're like almost a week and a half later. Here we are. Look how pretty those are. So this is Paper Crane Yarns. This was in the Kalira store. This is her mini skein bundle. And the colors are Woodfire Clay, Mariner's Tail, Aurora, Caramel Latte, and Dried Poppies. So stinking pretty. And they are 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and there's 520 gram, 87 yards per each of these. And this is her, I think her mohair, yeah, 75% kid mohair, and then 28% mulberry silk. These are 183 yards total. They're 20 grams. And they're in the same colors. What I would love to do with these is get a skein of a tonal of hers and a matching mohair. And then use all of this together to make some kind of wonderful wrap around me shawl. And I got that one mohair from her. This one mohair when I was there, but I think I would like to get something more of a natural color base that I can use with all of these. I don't know though. I need to look into that, and then I'll get back to you. But I am super excited that I won this basket. I don't even want to think about the amount of money that's in this basket. Not to mention the basket itself is huge and really nice. And will be great in my foyer to hold our shopping bags when we go out to buy groceries. I love that. I'm just so grateful and thankful. I'm going to pan around and show you the pile that is on my desk. But I'm just blown away, and I am so thankful to Pat and her husband for putting this yarn crawl together. I know they did it last minute, and I know it was a lot of work. And I know next year is just even going to be better because they've already started planning, and they're supposed to be releasing a date soon, so more yarn stores can join in, which just excites me so much. But I really needed this. I really did. The last time that we had the yarn crawl was in 2016 or 2018, and I did all of those in one day. But I forgot how much joy it is to get out there and talk to other knitters and crocheters. And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for things like this in the community that can bring the community together, and that just kind of, I don't know, brings joy to everyone. So thank you so much for all the yarn stores who participated and who donated for this amazing basket of amazing yarns and bags and the kit and the notions, the coffee mug. I'm so thankful to each and every one of you. And I'm so thankful to all of you for going on this yarn adventure with me. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope to do better even next time and really get more information about the yarns and the patterns in the store. But I hope that you found my coverage of the stores adequate, and that the video and the pictures gave you a glimpse into what is inside of them and what makes the stores so special and how important they are for our communities and fellow knitters and crocheters. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.